Well, today's presentation is I've got your six, I've got your back by the illustrious Mike Stagg. We're happy to have Mike here. We got him a new picture here because he didn't like the headshot that he had, and so I took an in action picture of him down at Springdale a month or so ago, and so we've got Mike.
That's someone having your back right there. I've talked to Jay. I've been whining to Jason for a little bit about I hated that headshot picture of me, and he's like, "Well, we'll get a better picture for you." I didn't even know it was going to be on there. So that's somebody having your six, somebody having your back, looking out for you. So thanks, Jason. I appreciate that.
I got you, brother.
As we talk about safety, like who is responsible for your safety? Right? Think about that just for a minute. Who is responsible for your safety? Yeah, ultimately you are, right? Ultimately, you are responsible for your own safety. Okay. But as we get talking a little bit further now, who is responsible for safety inside of your organization? Is it your designated safety officer? Is it your supervisor? Is it the boss? Is it the mayor? Is it the city manager? Is it the public works director? Who is it? Who is responsible inside the organization for your safety? Okay. Well, the answer is everybody. Everyone is responsible for safety inside the organization. Okay. And it takes everyone to build what we call a safety culture. Okay. Because we think about teamwork and you wonder who has your back in these situations. Is it somebody who is going to be looking out for you so you make sure you don't step in that hole? Somebody who is making sure that you're being safe, that you're using your PPE as directed and things like that. This is, we look at teamwork and we look at building the safety culture. We look at things to watch for, right? As we're looking out for others, as we're looking out to help our compatriots, right? Lifting, when they're lifting, are they doing it correctly? Are they lifting with the large muscles in their legs, or do they need help? Are you aware of when somebody needs help when they're lifting, and do you offer that help? Material handling, PPE. Are they wearing their PPE as they should? Are they handling those chemicals with the correct gloves on, with the correct eye protection? Slips, trips, and falls. Are you making people aware of the depressions, the trip hazards, the cords across the floor, the ice coming into the building this morning because it rained all weekend and it froze overnight? Okay. Are you watching out for your policies and procedures, making sure that everyone is aware of what they should be doing in order to stay safe? So as we think about safety cultures, right? How do we create a workplace that is a safe workplace? When we talk about safety culture, a culture is something that kind of permeates every inch of the organization, right? That is that thing that just is always on somebody's mind. And how do we work as a team to create this safety culture, this safe workplace? That's what we're going to talk about today in this session, is how we can create the safety culture and the things that we can do in order to help create that safe and healthy workplace. I think our first step here is awareness, right? We have to be aware of safety. We have to take safety into account in everything that we do. When you think about it, when you're putting on your personal protective equipment, or when you're doing a certain job and you make sure you're doing it the safe way, that means it's important to you, right? Because you want to go home at night. You want to go home with all your digits attached. You want to go home and not have to take an ambulance ride to the hospital. You want to be sure that you're going to go home safe at night. So safety, that's important to you. And that means if it's important to you, it's going to be important to the person working next to you. It's going to be important to the guy or gal who's working next to you. Okay. So those things that are important to me are also going to be important to others. You have to be aware and identify those hazards and exposures. When you identify those hazards and exposures, that just shows that I'm being aware not only for myself, but for others. And when you identify those, the next step is to communicate. You make sure you communicate to everybody. Hey, look out for that step over there. And don't just tell the coworker. Don't just tell your friend, right? Make the supervisor aware. Make the maintenance folks aware. Report up as far as these safety concerns go. Because if it's important to you and it's important to your coworker, it also should be important to the boss. Okay. So make sure you communicate that. Make sure you communicate upwards. Let them know that things are going on. Okay. If you see something, say something. You've got to say something if you see something. Okay. And we'll talk a lot about communication and why that is so important as we look to build awareness. Be an example inside the organization. People look to you, whether you think they are or not. Okay. Whether you just got hired yesterday or whether you've been on the job for 15, 20 years, people are looking at you and they say, oh, look, did Mike put on his personal protective equipment when he worked on that piece of machinery? How about Jason? When Jason was driving the company vehicle today, did he drive it correctly? Was he going over the speed limit? Was he weaving in and out of traffic? Okay, people are looking at you. So make sure you're being the example. Okay, show others the right way to do it. Support them. Speak up if something isn't going right. Speak up if something isn't going the way that you think it should be.
A lot of us following me to work today, Mike.
No comment. No. Jason's got a nicer truck than I do right now, so I of course was following him. No. But speak up if something isn't going right. Make sure that you are supporting the others inside the organization. What that means, there's a lot of us here who have industrial knowledge. There's people, we've been working here 15, 20 years, whatever it may be. We may know the right way to do something. We may know a better way to do something. We may know that we have to wear this piece of equipment, personal protective equipment, when we're doing this job. Share that. Share your knowledge. Okay. Make a difference. Help people. Okay. Just be that good person. Be that good human that's going to share that information with others. Communication is paramount as we look to build our safety culture. There should be no surprises inside our organization as far as it comes to safety. Nobody should say, oh, I didn't know that was unsafe, or I didn't know that we had to do that in order to stay safe. Okay. There should be that constant communication going back and forth between us and other members of the team to make sure that we're constantly building that culture of safety around the organization. Again, speak up. If you see a problem, point it out. If you've got a better way to do something, speak up. Say it. Okay? We've got this knowledge. If you've been working on a piece of equipment and you know that there's a certain quirk to that piece of equipment, or you've got to wear a certain piece of protective equipment in order to make sure you stay safe, do that. But speak up. Tell the coworkers, tell your buddy, because if it's important to you, it's going to be important to them. They want to go home safe just as much as you do. But what's more important than that is speaking up. If it's a safety related concern, is speaking up to your leadership. Let the leadership know if there's something that is unsafe. If there's something you've been dealing with for the past little bit that you know is an unsafe situation, but you've just been working through it, speak up, say something. Let the supervisors know what's going on. Give them an opportunity to make it safer for you. That's their responsibility, is to be the example for you as well. Okay? They should be the example in setting that safety culture. So if they are, make sure you communicate with them. Make sure you speak up if you need to. If there's a better way to do something about it. Okay? Check this picture out. There's got to be a better way to change this light bulb. All right? There's got to be a better way to prop that ladder up. You can tell that's what this lady's thinking as she's coming up these stairs. Like, what is going on here? Okay? If there's a better way to do something, say something. Okay? Say something. Bring it up. Bring it up to management. Say something to your team leads, to your foreman, or to your shift supervisor. Bring it up. What's the worst they can do? Say no? Okay? But then you can go forward. Then you can move forward and say, I really think we need to do something better. I really think we can do it better this way to help everybody out. You've got to keep building that safety culture by keeping your eyes and ears open. And if there is something that you can do and change to do better, speak up, say something about it. Teach each other. Okay, like I said, we've all got knowledge. We've all got our brains, right? 3 brains are better than 1. teach each other, work together to solve these problems. Show people how to do things. Share your knowledge. Okay. Don't keep it all compartmentalized within yourself and think, I'm just going to do this to stay safe for myself. Okay. Don't be afraid to share. Share that knowledge with safety related concerns. If there's a more efficient way to do something, if there's a more effective way, if there's a safer way to do something, do that. But speak up and let others know about it as well. That's how you build culture. That's how you build trust. And that's how you build that safety culture within the entire organization, is you encourage people and you show them how to do things, but then you accept that knowledge as well. All right. One of the biggest things we can do with building a safety culture is not being afraid to ask for help or not being afraid to offer help. Okay. What do I mean by this? What I mean is we're not all 20 years old anymore, right? I can't lift the same stuff that I could lift 20 years ago when I was 20. Okay. I cannot move the same way I could move when I was 20 years old. And that's hard to grasp sometimes. That's hard for me to take into consideration and think, man, I'm not the same person I was that long ago. Okay. So don't be afraid to ask for help. It's okay to say, hey, this is heavy. Can you come help me? It's okay to say, hey, I'm not sure how to do this. I can't remember how to operate this piece of machinery. Can you help me out? Okay. And don't be afraid to offer your help. If you see somebody struggling, if you see somebody who looks like, they can't lift that big, heavy piece of machinery or big, heavy box, okay, offer to help. If you're walking by and you notice someone who is struggling, or you see someone who is about to do something that you think may be a little bit unsafe, if you don't help them, go and help. Okay. Be that person that goes and helps. Offer your help and accept that help just as readily as you would offer it yourself. Don't be afraid to ask for help. It's okay. When we think about the golden rule, how do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Okay. How do you want to be treated? And are you providing that treatment to others? If you're thinking, man, I could really use assistance moving this box, or this is really heavy, or I can't remember how to do this, it would sure be nice if somebody would help me out here. Okay. Are you offering that same amount of help to others? So when you think about that, think, if I wanted help in this situation, am I offering that same help to somebody else if they need it? That's our golden rule, right? Do help somebody out if they need it. Because there may be a time when you might need help. You might not ask for it, but somebody's going to come and help you. Okay. And that's great. That's somebody who's looking out for you. That's somebody who's got your six. So look out for those opportunities to help. A lot of, there are some of us though that work alone. There are some of us who, we're in our office or we're sent out on a job site to do surveying or whatever it may be. What's the risk of that? There's risks that comes with working alone, right? So what we do encourage is to work in a buddy system. Because if something happens to you, if you collapse from a heart attack and you're all by yourself, no one's going to be there to help you. If you slip and trip and fall and you break a leg or break an arm and you can't move and you need some help, okay, having a buddy there to help is going to be paramount. So work in the buddy system. If there's not the opportunity to work in a buddy system, if you have to go out and work alone, make sure people know where you're at. Make sure people know where you're going, the job site you're going to, when you expect to be back or when you'll be reporting in. Okay, make sure you have that communication going back and forth so people know where everybody else is on the team. That's extremely important, especially when we are working alone. So that even from afar, people can have our backs. People can know, hey, Mike was supposed to be here an hour ago. He's not here yet. Maybe we should call and check on him. Do you remember what job site he went to last? Let's drive out there and make sure he's okay. Make sure things are going all right. Has he gotten in a car accident? Has something happened to him? Use the buddy system when you can. Go with somebody. Don't work alone, but if you have to work alone, make sure somebody else has your back at the command center. One of the easiest things we can do, and this is a great example of the buddy system, is using a spotter. Now, we talk about using a spotter a lot in our defensive driving courses, right? Meaning that you have somebody outside the car that's going to help you back up in a parking lot. You have agreed upon signals. Hey, you're getting close. Okay, stop. Okay, stop, you're going to run into something. Okay, whatever it is. This using a spotter, for example, in automobiles, is one of the best ways we can avoid backing accidents. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, oh, Mike, I look like an idiot. I look like I don't know how to back up a car if I've got the coworker out helping me back that car up. Okay. You know what? 90% of the time, those people that you're back, those people that are looking at you as you're backing out of your parking spot at Taco Bell, okay, you're never going to see that person again. Who cares? Just have somebody else help you back up so we can avoid these silly accidents. Now, this correlates really well to anything else that we're doing. Okay, is having a spotter when we're doing something that requires, that is a safety conscious thing. It's having somebody watch for us. Having somebody watch when we're going down into the sewer manhole. Okay, using a spotter there. Did we have all our personal protective equipment on? Did we ventilate and test the air if we needed to? Okay, using that spotter, that person is going to help. That spotter should help alleviate any kind of safety concerns that we have and make sure that we're putting ourselves in the safest position possible. Scene safety is our rule number one. Whenever we go to start a job or anything like that, always have to protect yourself first. Do I have all my PPE on? Do I have my respirator on? Do I have my retroreflective clothing on when I'm stepping out into traffic? But because that's important to us, we're protecting ourselves first. We got to make sure our buddy next to us is doing the same thing. Hey, we're getting out into traffic here. I noticed you didn't grab your vest yet. Here's your vest. Put it on. Okay? Just that simple act. Here, make sure you're safe. Goes a long way towards building trust and building that culture of safety within your organization. We have responsibilities from OSHA, responsibilities that we have to comply with the rules and standards and regulations set forth by our agencies. We also have to use our PPE as it's been prescribed to us. Okay, so we can help out. We can help out our friends, our buddies, our teammates, our coworkers fulfill their responsibilities under OSHA by making sure that they put on their personal protective equipment, by making sure they follow all the right regulations and rules and standards that they're supposed to follow. So each employee's responsibility is to do these things under OSHA, but our responsibility is to make sure that our teammates and our friends and our buddies and our coworkers are also following their responsibilities under OSHA, that we're allowing them to be successful by having them comply with those rules and regulations, by saying something. If you see something, say something. Okay? Now, as we go out to work in our different environments, think what's in our work zone. Has there been a hazard beforehand that now we're going out to work on? Was there an injury here that's happened before? Was there a near miss where if we were a quarter of an inch one way or the other, this could have turned out very poorly for us? Okay? Have we had those experiences? If we've had experiences, have we had an accident? Have we gotten hurt while doing a job? Have we gotten hurt while working on a piece of equipment? Sharing those stories is very, very powerful. Okay, that whole do as I say, not as I do type thing. Okay, when you can bring those things up and make yourself a little bit more human. Say, you know what? I was working on a piece of equipment before, and this is what happened because I didn't wear my personal protective equipment. Or I was going out into the sewer manhole, and I didn't have 3 points of contact as I was climbing down the ladder, and I jumped the last 2 rungs, and I landed wrong and twisted my ankle. That speaks a lot to your coworkers. So make sure if you've had some of those incidents where you've had an injury maybe, or a near miss, like if I would have just been a quarter of an inch this way, I would have went down, and I would have went down hard. Those speak. So bring those up. Let people know that, hey, it's okay that we all make mistakes, but I don't want you to make the same mistake I did, because I don't want you to be the next statistic that we're going over in one of these presentations. So think about what's in your zone and what you can do to help others so that they can stay safe. If you've experienced something that's been a near miss or an injury in case, inside of your work area, remember that we're all in this together as we're working to build this safety culture. Okay. Everyone's in it together. The boss is in it with you. We're in it with you here at the Trust. We want everyone to improve. Being part of a safety culture is just we're just trying to make it better for everybody. We're trying to make it easier. We're trying to make it more efficient, because when we do that, the jobs go better and we stay safer inside the organization when we're working on our jobs. Keep working to build this safety culture. And when you're doing that, active participation is absolutely needed. Okay. Safety is not a passive thing. You can't just go through and think, I'm just gonna skate through and I'll be fine. Okay. Active participation in safety programs is expected and it's needed. Okay. If we're going to build this safety culture, you've got to be an active participant in safety. And it's got to go from the top down and from the bottom up. Wear your personal protective equipment. Say something if you see something. Communicate. All right. Bring it up to management. Let the leadership know, hey, we've got safety concerns here. We've got something that we could be doing better. I think we've got a better way to do this. I think we need a different piece of personal protective equipment to help us stay safe. It's okay to speak up and say these things. So make sure you participate in the safety program and inside of your safety culture. Get involved with your safety committee. Ask about safety committees. Hey, can we come to a meeting? Can we see what's going on with the safety committee? We want to be involved. We want to know what's going on, and we want to give our ideas so that we can make this community safer for everybody. Safety is a part of all of the jobs that we do. It's got to be the priority for us. Okay, we've got to look out for each other. We've got to have that teamwork that comes. And when we do that, when we look out for one another, when we realize, hey, if this is important to me, it's going to be important to the person next to me. That's when that culture starts to build. That's when we get that ball rolling, and then it can't be stopped. So please take the opportunity to say something if you see something. Support others and just make it better for everybody involved. Okay, that's all I got.
All right, folks, if you've got a question or a comment, please type that into the chat box and we'll get Mike to answer that right now. Great topic, Mike. Important to remember how critical each of us is in the safety of others. And whether we go home at night at the end of the day is ultimately on our shoulders, but we can definitely help each other out. So
yeah,
awesome topic there. Looking at this, looking at the questions. Let's see. Just a good kudo there, saying thanks for the enthusiasm on the topic. So thanks.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate it. And it looks like those are the questions that we have for the day. So final word.
Just go out and build that safety culture. I mean, it starts with all of us. If you've got questions, if you've got concerns, bring them up. Communicate and ask, because that's what's going to help. That's what's going to help build this culture that we're looking for.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Folks, we're going to be back talking about safe sidewalks in about a half hour. So if you haven't signed up for that, go to utahtrust.gov and click on training and events to sign up there. And we'll see you in a half hour. Have a safe day,
everyone.